All right, welcome everyone to the presentation of my OD library. This first image represents my approach to change, which is to change the climate that employees are working in order to produce better results. Before I go too far into the details of my actual library, I'm going to talk about the plan that I have for it. PLAN is an acronym. The P stands for purpose, and my purpose in creating this library is to connect my learning experiences to my career goals, identifying the skills, knowledge, and resources I will need along the way. And in this library, I am looking to consolidate my portfolio of work, the methods I prefer to work with, and the evidence that supports those methods. The L stands for leaders, and really with this project, I'm the only leader of this initiative. Although I do receive support from other stakeholders, including friends, colleagues, and mentors. The A stands for action steps. And the first action step I have is to continue to strategically add pieces to my library and portfolio where appropriate, and maintaining a commitment to keeping those resources organized so that others besides myself can navigate it with ease. And finally, we have the N, which stands for needs. I really have three needs as it relates to my library. First, I need feedback from my professors and peers. I need opportunities to fill the gaps in my knowledge and experiences, and the motivation to find and seize those opportunities. So this picture represents my purpose. Look at each face. Do these people look like they don't enjoy their jobs? And look at the table. You have keyboards, laptops, and binders full of information all over the table. These people are working hard, and every time they share a moment like this, their bond becomes stronger. That sense of safety and belonging is what is going to allow the best ideas to come to the surface, and the interconnectivity those people enjoy is what will allow them to meet deadlines that other teams may not be able to. So with my dream job, there are two potential paths that my career could take that could be equally fulfilling. At both, I would be empowering organizations to make work enjoyable for employees with the idea that workplace satisfaction significantly correlates to performance. So with both of these doors, I would be doing similar things. I would be establishing and reinforcing norms that create psychological safety. I would be designing collaborative events for teams, departments, or even the entire organization, leading workshops and events that provide information in ways that are fun and engaging, and working with leaders to develop incentive and performance management programs that go beyond monetary bonuses. So behind door number one, we have a position as an external consultant. So this represents the view that an external consultant would have. You're really a guest in an organization. So you're working on special projects, short-term initiatives, and developing plans for long-term initiatives to be carried out by others. Behind door number two, we have an internal executive level position. So this, you're not an outsider, you're within, you're living the values and mission of the organization. And as an internal person, I would work on more in-depth projects, seeing them through to completion. Ideally, special projects and collaborative events would still be a large focus of such a position. The next thing I'm going to talk about is a gap analysis, which is something I've done to kind of find the gaps between where I am now and where I need to be in order to achieve either of those dream job scenarios. So what I have right now are a bachelor's degree in education. I have experience in nonprofits, the childcare industry, and K-12 environments. I have experience working with diverse groups of community stakeholders and established closed work groups. And I'm also an accomplished facilitator who is well-versed in instructional and event design. What I need more of are knowledge and practices with change methods, experience working in government and for-profit environments, and enhanced credentials and an enhanced professional network, both of which the EMOD program should help me with. All right, the next thing I'm going to talk about is my method. So many of the elements of my personal method fit within applied improvisation, which is using a pre-designed framework to develop or demonstrate a skill or principle using in-the-moment learning. So rather than being told best practice or sitting through a presentation, Teams can experience best and worst case scenarios and experiment with their own approaches in a safe way. Participants aren't staring at a PowerPoint and they aren't being talked at. This allows them to truly interact with the material and walk away with something that's truly meaningful. The next thing I'm going to talk about with the method are the 6 design elements within a method. Those design elements are purpose, system, journey, evidence, values, and model. I'm going to go over each one and how they fit into my personal method. So first we have purpose, and the purpose of my method is to build collaboration through interactive exercises. The S is system, which is all of the different ways in which I've used my method. I've used it in, again, the K through 12 environment. I've used it in the classroom with with children, and I've also used it with those children's teachers. The journey for me, which is the next element, has started as a preschool teacher working in the classroom to a position as a teaching consultant, working with teachers to enact positive changes in their classrooms and in their schools. And those are what has led me to the EMOD program and what comes next. The next step is evidence. So this is where my OD library comes in, which is going to be an anecdotal and factual data to support why my method is worth investing in, and particularly how all of that data is organized. Next, we have values, and my fundamental value, my fundamental belief as a change agent is that work should be fun and learning should be fun. We spend the majority of our waking hours in an average week with our coworkers. We spend more time with our coworkers than we do with our families. So we should do all we can to enjoy the company of those we work with. And then finally, we have model. I often point to my current employer as the ultimate model for creating a creative and collaborative workplace environment. There is an enormous feeling of psychological safety there, and I can address our CEO the same way and with the same manners that I would one of my coworkers. That safety is what allows some of the best ideas to come to the surface, and it is what enables a high-performing collaborative team to exist. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is my library. So first we're going to talk about the books in my library. So these are some books that I have read, skimmed, or owned but haven't yet cracked. And they all represent all of the theories that reflect my own philosophy for how people should work and learn. There are also books that represent my approach to levity, which any one of my coworkers or cohort mates would agree is present in everything I do or say. Now let's be honest. Books have not been the sole focus of any library for over 50 years. When you tell someone they should read a book, there's a good chance they aren't going to. Too much commitment. But a video comes with a very low level of commitment that, when well delivered, can inspire someone to dig deeper. Then they might go looking for that article themselves or read that book, not because they're listening to your advice, but because they are inspired. So these are images of all the people who inspire me and whose videos I love to share either in presentations and workshops or when I just need a laugh and need other people to laugh with me. So how are my methods and my library going to get me to that next step? My purpose statement is learning and working need to be fun in order to be effective. And my approach to change comes in promoting collaboration and creativity through levity and using lighthearted activities to tackle heavy and complex subjects. With my portfolio, I utilize Google Suite almost exclusively, and it allows me to use every minute of my day effectively. So the next thing I'll kind of go over is how I organize things in my YouTube account. So I have a folder for organization development, and as I add more videos, I will add a little more complexity to this and separate things out into change management, leadership development, and other areas like that. But for right now, it's all together. And every time I see something that I think is relevant, I put it in here, and I'll often build a presentation or build a workshop around one of these videos. And then I also have my Google Drive account, which I have a little bit more differentiation in. So I have all of my schoolwork that goes under BGSU, and then I have different folders for each of the centers that I'm working with, the childcare centers that I'm working with that I'm doing work for. And then up at the top, I have this quick access area, which is for things that I'm working on right now that I need access to regularly. As my portfolio grows, I might add some more complexity to this, but for right now, this is kind of where I like it to be. So how am I going to maintain both my portfolio and my library? Well, I have an office at home, which is where all of my books live. The physical books and all of the physical materials that I have live there. I also have all of my important documents backed up with my hard drive. And then for making sure that things stay fresh and current, I use Google Drive and cloud-based software so that I have easy access to my materials and I can update them very easily from anywhere in the world. The key to my own portfolio style and library are simplicity. I have only a few folders for each of my tools, and while that number will likely expand with time, it will only expand when I need it to. So when I started the process of organizing this library, I had an epiphany that my method would revolve around levity and humor. But this project has required me to really dig deep within myself to determine what I want to spend the rest of my career doing. And as a result, I have elaborated on that idea and come to the conclusion that although I use humor in everything I do, the overall focus needs to be on how that humor can help people to make connections with one another. Laughter itself does not make a healthy work environment, but it is a symptom of one. I want to spend my career building those healthy work environments because I believe these are what drive performance and collaboration. So this quote from Richard Branson sums up my thoughts on the ideal workplace. This is the type of environment I want to foster, and I look forward to a long career of helping employers to create environments that are productive, profitable, and fun places to be. So I placed this picture and quote here in the spirit of levity. So before diving into her acceptance speech at the Academy Awards this year, Allison Janney had this to say. Of course, after she did, she went on with the business of thanking those who had helped. Now, like her, I did not do this project all by myself. A big thank you goes out to Andrew and Lisa for giving me some of their time and insight as I explore the methods with which I'm building my career. I would also like to thank both my cohort mates and Professor Katie for the invaluable feedback on early drafts of this project. And finally, a big thank you to all of you who are watching. I hope this presentation has been insightful and at least a little bit entertaining. Thanks and have a great day.